Zach. These are I won't say they're harder to do, but it just it really is one of those things that you think about it and you say to yourself, man, the Cowboys are starting to be the same song and dance with this team, right? Let's talk about, this game and we'll break it down. I feel like, and I said the Cowboys look flat because they nothing really. They had moments where they score points, and they've done that all year. But then there were times where I just saw a team that quit. I'm just, especially on defense. I feel like they quit, Zach. I mean, I don't know how to explain it, but for me, this is now Shoddy coming out and saying, "Well, we have a lot to fight for." They didn't fight. So, Zach, before we even start recapping the game, I'm kind of like all over the place, but I'll say this. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good. A little bit tired. Me and Foot's been doing our own thing today. Like watching a little bit of the game, here and there. We're kind of like the same thing that the Cowboys were doing today. Like they know that they don't have anything to play for.
Yeah.
Like they know that, and you can tell in their play that they don't. And that's what happened today. The offense started out pretty decent, 17 points in the first half, and then they went scoreless. But in the first half, the defense did force a single punt.
Yeah.
So it was like you said, it's the same song and dance. But I'm doing good. We keep talking about it. I'm ready to get into some draft talk and stuff because this game kind of changed my perspective on what this team needs.
Oh, Zach, do you see the comments on the screen? That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I see that. You want to turn them on or off?
Did you do that?
I might have accidentally hit my space bar.
That's cool. Let me see. Can I do
that? Hit that up in the show comments on stage at the top right
corner.
Oh,
wow, that's nice. Oh, we getting fancy, y'all. I'm just saying. We might keep y'all comments. We'll bring y'all comments back on the screen a little bit later. Did you want to keep them on, or what you thinking, Zach? Let's see.
No, that's totally up to you.
Oh, that's pretty cool, though. Why? Oh, okay.
That way people get involved.
Hey, we'll get y'all involved. Yeah, you know what, Agent. Let's give Agent some. He said, "I'm sick of all Cowboys content creators." Hey, Agent, we're trying, bro. We love you. We can't all be right, man. We love you, brother. You know what? The truth is, this is actually one of those where I'll be honest. Like, I am confused at when this team being top 5 or offensively, but you still see times where they can't get George Pickens and CeeDee Lamb involved. And then, Zach, I don't want to take your point, but the defense, for me, right? I've looked at corner, linebacker, but I got to be honest with you, Zach. You kind of hit it on the head. There might be another need that after watching this game and us not being able to move the ball, not being able to get home, there might be another need. What need is that for you, Zach, that you saw? I don't want to take your glory.
A pass rusher. Justin Herbert has been sacked in every single game this year, and of course, in this one with a beat-up offensive line. They are on their 13th offensive line combination, and this defense could not get a single sack. I'm going to have to go back and when the next gen stats come out and look at the pressure numbers, but it didn't feel like it was that much. But also, you got guys that can get pressure, but you don't have guys that can disengage and go find the ball or athletic enough to chase down Justin Herbert. The Cowboys don't have that. Yeah. And so the more that I think about it, the more that pass rusher becomes, because at first it's been linebacker and corner. Like if they can get a linebacker and a corner in the draft and with those first 2 picks, I feel like I would be really happy about that. But then I just think about how are you going to get pressure? Like it doesn't matter if you can't get any pressure on the quarterback and you are running zone or man, that coverage on the back end is going to break down every single time. Like you just can't chase 4-2 receivers around the field all game long without pressure. So I know that you said that you were going to make a video on a pass rusher that people have some differing opinions on, but
I like this game.
I'm definitely going to put that in the notes, like that this team might need an edge with all the other needs on defense.
I said outside of defensive tackle because you did make some hay at that position. You could draft any position on the defense in those first couple picks, and you'll be justified, Zach. I mean, you just saw times today where you couldn't get downhill and fill. Shamar James had a few good plays, but you couldn't get downhill and fill, Zach. And you talking about edge rusher is going to be so interesting because you know what's going to be funny, Zach? The why'd you trade Micah Parsons crowd is going to wake back up for sure. And I mean, I don't think that they're wrong. I just think that when I look at this team, it's like I still do love the fact that we were, able to get the defensive tackles. Like I'm not going to just like throw it away like, man, yeah, we didn't get the defense tackle, but now it's like, dang, you're not getting quick pressures. You're not making the quarterback make tough decisions. He's sitting back there. And if you can't stop JJ McCarthy, you can't stop Jacoby Brissett, excuse me, you can't get to him quickly. Well, what do you think is going to happen against Justin Herbert, who his offensive line is great, but I mean, that doesn't really, matter because he's comfortable, right? I thought that you saw Revel get picked on. Obviously, I don't need to go into Diggs' play today. It's so many people were talking about, oh, that play wasn't on him. It was on Diggs. People are saying it's cover 2. No, we don't. First of all, we don't know if it was cover 2. Just because it's a split safety look doesn't mean it's cover 2. And then second of all, when Lad McConkey came in motion and he became the number 1, Diggs still has to carry and he has to play with what's the word? Instincts. So it's on Diggs. And that before I was like, I'm starting to think I hold on, Miko. My son, he's I'm at first I was like, okay, I liked how Shotty was handling that situation. But now, right, it looks like what was the point in even why did you bring Diggs back for a meaningless game? And Carson didn't play.
That's what I've been wondering, like, what are we doing? Because they wait until now to bring Diggs back, and then they wait till now to put Matt Eberflus up in the booth, which didn't help. I mean, it wasn't going to ever help. But why are we making these changes now? Like, why are we trying all these different things? Been doing the same thing for 15, 16 weeks at this point, and now in a meaningless game, we want to start trying to pull out all the tricks. Like, that should have been happening weeks ago. That should have happened in week 10, week 11, week 12, when you felt like, okay, we're on that 500 pace. If we want to get over 500 and maybe have a chance to make a run at the playoffs, we should start making some changes now. And they just never really did that. And I thought the offensive game plan to start was really, really good by Schottenheimer. He didn't play like that scared type football, like they were taking shots down the field. There was a lot of play action, Dak stepping up in the pocket, trying to test this defense vertically. And it worked. And like we saw in the Lions game and we saw in the Vikings game, like it just looked like scared offense. And then whatever happened in the second half, the Chargers adjusted. They don't give up a lot of big plays. And then after that, it was pretty much, it was it. You can't get a stop on defense and you can't score in second half offensively. You're going to have a problem. You're going to have a problem. And are you worried? Are you worried about the offense? Like, as talented as they are, right? There comes a point where it's like, you can say, okay, we got talent everywhere. We got George Pickens and CeeDee Lamb and this and that. But at some point, you got to score, I
called it empty calories, 17 points today. And it's starting to be a trend of when you play good defensive coordinators, Jesse Minter, Brian Flores, you don't really press the right buttons, bro. I mean, I don't think that this run game is great. And I don't think everything that we heard about it being violent, like Javonte Williams, I'm pretty sure he went over 1,000 yards. I mean, his numbers, or he's close. But do you feel like we can run the game when we want to? Well, I mean, excuse me, can we run the ball when we want to?
No.
Exactly. And all we heard was, like this offense is number 1, but it doesn't feel like an offense that can ever threaten real defenses. Not right now. Like if you played the Texans, you get beat. Their defense would dominate your offense. You played Denver, they dominated your offense. You played Minnesota, they dominated your offense. You played today, they dominated your offense. I mean, you couldn't get CeeDee Lamb involved today. You know?
Yeah.
Like, let me look at CeeDee Lamb's targets. I don't think it was something. Yeah. Yep. CD just, 51 yards. Pickens had a great game. CD, he went over 1,000 yards today, but it wasn't great. Jake Ferguson, to me, I really want to have a deeper Jake Ferguson conversation.
I do too.
Yeah,
I think people are
what are your thoughts on him?
I've seen people on Twitter talking about like, well, we need a tight end. We need a tight end. While I 100% agree, I'm not going to go that route because I know that they're not going to go that route. Like,
No.
and I still, for the life of me, cannot understand what happened. I know that the scheme is different, and Schottenheimer, Ferguson's been a lot more of an outlet than he has like a vertical threat and a guy that's going to have a ton of yak opportunities. But you got to break a tackle at some point. Like, you cannot have, 80 catches for less than 600 yards. That is diabolically low, dude. That is insane.
Bro, that 80 catches for under 600 is nuts, bro. That is such a good stat, Zach.
That doesn't even make sense how it's possible.
What is that average? Somebody chat.
I'm going to look at the ESPN numbers now. Okay, so he's at 77 catches for 570 yards. And the pace that he's on is he will have 80 and still under 600 most likely. That is yards per reception, 7.4, and that is a full yard less than last year, which he had a down year last year. And that is 3 full yards different from his best year of 2023, where he had 71 catches for 761 yards and 10.7 yards per catch. Like, that is like, the drop off is astronomical from year to year. It's 2 full yards and then it's a one full yard. Like, Jason Witten has never averaged less than that in his entire career, including the years that he retired and came back. Like, it's just low for the type of player that we thought he could be.
Well, and think about it like this too, Zach. When you talk about, weaponizing something, I think the problem is we're now trying to get too many people involved who aren't special. Jake Ferguson isn't special in anything. I'm done. Like, I'll do this with Diggs. I have to be fair. He's good. He's a 4th-round pick, and he's not special. I'd rather you say, let's give those touches to Flanoy, and let's just run the ball with our 2 big tight ends. If you want to keep Jake on the field, but he's not a good blocker. He's had a bunch of penalties. Like, I just don't think that chat, tell me what Jake Ferguson does is special. He's, I guess, a sure-handed passer. But the seam ball wasn't even great this year with him and Dak. Like, it wasn't great. And so the reason why I want Span Ford on the field is because he will block. He can get you those reach blocks. You can use him as a move blocker. We run this play, basically fungo, where you can split zone and then just flip him to the flats. But he is a true blocker because, to me, extending Dak's career is going to be about the run game. We're now into that Tony Romo part of his career. You need to get a true run game. As good as Javonte Williams is, you're going to have to get another back in here, whether it's through free agency or in the draft at some point, and just make the run game part of the weaponry and just have the 2 receivers. Thinking that Jake Ferguson shouldn't be a priority in this offense. It's clear he's not dangerous. Like, Jake Ferguson is not dangerous to anyone, Zach. He's not. And so
they've tried to do it with Turpin too. They've tried to do the same thing with Turpin, and it's like, yes, I get that he's fast. He can run horizontally on the field very, very fast. But that doesn't matter in the NFL when everyone's big, everyone's fast. He just doesn't he makes almost more mistakes than he helps your team out. And for some reason, they are just dead set on giving him the ball.
Yeah.
Like, you're taking 2 or 3 yards of a Turpin end around or whatever, or a toss on a motion. Like, you're taking 2 or 3 yards when you could have just handed it to Javonte and maybe got 3 or 4, or, throwing it down the field on 1st and 10. I don't know. They just, like you said, there's too many people in this offense, and there's only 2 guys that you should really be gearing to get the ball to. Everybody else is an accessory in the offense. They're just,
bro.
They're not, there's nothing crazy about any of the other guys. Has your viewpoint changed on bringing Javonte back based on how the run games looked?
Here's what I would say. Because he does so much in the passing game, and because he is just such a good teammate. I would bring him back on the cheap. If there's a team that wants to pay him a lot of money, if he feels he can get X amount of dollars elsewhere, bro, then I think that I would keep. I think that I would say I would keep my money and I would just move forward, right? But it will be a on the cheap deal. Like I don't know if he's gonna be the end all be all. Now, what does that do? That leaves you with a need at running back. But I mean, you found Javonte Williams. You had to go try to figure out something else. But this team is best when I think that they have a real weapon and a real like good running back. And it's so frustrating, Zach, to see Kyron Williams and Blake Corum. It's so frustrating to see Kyle Monangai and Swift. Like it's so frustrating because that's what we asked for in the offseason. I think that's a big part of why, those teams' defenses are better than your defense because they eat up time possession. They know that they can get first downs consistently with the run game. Like how many times do we say, man, we can go out there and we could just run the ball down a team's throat to get first downs? Not a lot, right? Yeah. And so obviously this team needs help on defense. And if you try to run it back with the personnel you have on defense, you're going to be mad at the next defensive coordinator that you bring in. But I've said for a while, man, like to weaponize this run game, you need to draft a guy, not in the 5th round, not a player who, Zach, maybe it was a blind spot of myself. Me and you covered Jaden Blue ad nauseum. I didn't know he had this amount of can't get on the field issues. Like they just don't want to play him. It's bad.
It don't make any sense to me, dude. They do all of these medical tests. They interview all these people. Like they draft these players because at the end of the day, they are $1 million investments. Like regardless, like if Jaden Blue's getting picked in the 5th round and he's here for 4 years, he will make millions of dollars. Like they do so much homework on these guys. How do you draft him and not know that is my question. I get that it's the 5th round. I get that there's 350 prospects that could likely be drafted or have a draftable grade. But at some point, dude, you got to put it on the scouts and stuff that they didn't hear that from somebody. So a college team that's in their own backyard that they know somebody that knows somebody that knows somebody that knows him, that knows Jaden Blue. So for them to draft him, even if it is in the 5th round, it's just on them. And I was looking like Kyle Monangai. The Bears took him with the 233rd overall pick this year in the 2025 draft. He's good. He's really good. I remember watching him at Rutgers. Pretty sure it was Rutgers. Yeah. Like watching him in the draft process, like he's not super special in terms of like he's not going to be one of those, top 10 pick running backs or anything like that, but he's solid enough to where the run game is good enough, especially when you pair that with DeAndre Swift. And Dallas just hasn't been able to do that. Like, I think that the running back tandem with Williams and if Jaden Blue would have worked out, would have been so much better for this team. But it's like they just keep missing here and here on a contract or here and here on a draft pick. And they're betting on this one person, wherever it is, and it don't end up working out. And it kind of throws everything off.
Yeah, man. It really is one of these things that's just like, looking at you now when all of these things happen and you pass on guys like when you think about it, like, dang, Zach, we really drafted this guy, one Monangai, even I was looking up Kamani Vidal. He's playing for the Chargers, he's playing for the team you just played. Yeah. Like there are guys who are outperforming Jaden Blue who could not get on the field. Like the front office has to wear that, man. Like that's when I think that the front office needs to wear Matt Eberflus. Like Matt Eberflus is going to get fired, but I've really been wanting to timestamp this, Zach. He's going to get fired and the defense is going to look the exact same if you don't do anything differently. But to stay on the point about the running back position, like, bro, looking at like, man, he couldn't play, the first 2 picks were great, but other than that, it's just, it's a very disappointing year, man. it's a very disappointing year for multiple reasons. But I just think that the personnel, man, like, I don't know. Well, let me ask you a question because this is one that, they said they were going to come out, try to play hard, all that. I get it, but, guys started to tap out. Zach, the needs on defense are so much. And now you just added defensive end, which is real. What would you do to fix if you draft defensive end? What would Zach do to fix the linebacker and the cornerback room? Because it's now you're not drafting in the middle rounds, bro.
Yeah.
Like as it stands today, you have the 2 first-round picks, and then you don't draft again to the 4th.
You don't draft again until day 3. You're going to miss all of day 2 with those without the 2nd and 3rd round picks. I think that you can get production at linebacker from a free agent. Like I think that there's a guy out there that's maybe on the other side of 30 that they're going to have to scout well. That at the end of the day, like there might be 2 guys that get $4 million. One could play like Kenneth Murray. One could play like Demario Davis was playing this year. If that was me, linebacker is not a super expensive position. It's not like edge rusher. It's not like corner on the open market. Linebacker, you can probably sign a guy that is okay enough, better than what they have right now on the free agency market. Then you go out and maybe you can sign a veteran corner, or it's so hard because being a Cowboys fan, they just bet on guys. They're just projecting that, okay, Revel will be, and then Bland will be back. And then I guess go and look for a safety. I haven't looked at the free agent market with safeties either. But even then, you start talking about edge rusher, it's hard to rely on a rookie edge. Like, when's the last time that Dallas drafted a rookie edge that was just killing it? That was Micah. And and he wasn't even drafted to be an edge. I think going into this draft process, people are going to be so split on what this team needs, because when you look at it, they need help everywhere, literally everywhere. And the $1 million question is going to be, how do you fix that? I don't know. I think linebacker, if the way that this team spends in free agency, is going to be their cheapest option that could maybe upgrade the most for the least amount of money. If there's a corner out there that they like that isn't making 15, 20 million a year, I don't know any corner names in free agency this year either, but you're not getting anything from the defensive end room in free agency. Like, there's just not any guys out there. You have like Joey Bosa. You have, God, what are some other, Khalil Mack. Like, those dudes are getting up there in age at this point. What would you do? Like, what is your idea of like what is a successful offseason draft look like for you?
Well, I see a comment on the screen and I want to show it. It says, I just put it on there. I like our new whatchamacallit. Do you trade Diggs for just picks? I'm here to tell you, nobody's giving you a pick for Trevon Diggs, Star Lord. I love you, brother, but nobody is giving you a pick for Diggs. I think what I would do is, I saw a comment just said, I would definitely keep Clowney. So my way of attacking it is this. This is what I'm doing, Zach. And let me not cover your face. Sorry about that, brother.
No, you're good.
I think, Zach, what I would do is I'm keeping a free agent. So I'm doing the free agent draft at every position, right? But like not like Clowney would be low end, but I would still possibly look in like you said, the defensive end market is kind of, but I can't let Clowney get out the door because he showed you something. If he still wants to play, you kind of deal with his stipulations. Maybe he don't want to come to camp, whatever. But he gave you more than really anybody outside of Donovan as a Rocket. But he just hit that rookie wall. So even if I'm drafting a guy, I want him learning from that dude and Easy and whatever other defensive end you bring in. Linebacker, I think I'm going to have to agree with you. I think that position you could get a linebacker that upgrades what you have now. Here's the thing, Zach. Where is your defensive identity going to come from? right? Because you hear people, well, maybe we go to a 3-4. You're not switching to a 3-4. Dallas is just not. There's like 4 3-4 teams in the league, bro. So they're not doing that. And then there's like only certain defensive coordinators can call that stuff. So I'm gonna go give me a backer in free agency. I still would like to draft backer, and if you don't draft a corner, you have to sign two.
Yeah.
I keep telling people you're gonna have to bring in two defensive backs, whether it's a nickel and an outside, whether you draft an outside and you sign a nickel, whether you could double down at corner in this draft, bro, in your first two picks. You need to get better coverage wise, and then the problem is you are looking to a rookie to be all world. That's a heck of a risk to take, but it's one that you have to take. Your first round picks have to be day one, play one, ready to play in the NFL. That's going to be the tricky part of this whole draft. Who is day one, play one, ready to play in this league, Zach? That's going to be the tricky part. But so at that defensive end, and like I just said, with now thinking about the actual needs on this team, I like what you're saying about defensive end because it's real. You need a defensive end, but how to clean it up? It's going to be interesting, Zach.
This team's just gotten so used to having maybe like a hole or two or maybe three on the roster, and we can kind of point out they still got to have a really good draft, but we can be like, okay, if you can get a starter here, and then maybe here, like I feel like we'd be pretty good. But now we're starting to get to the point where you don't have enough picks to fix this team. Like it's just not going to happen. You do the math, it doesn't make sense. And I was looking at some of the names. Linebacker, I like a lot more of the names. Like Levante David, he's almost 36. Bobby Wagner is getting a little too old. Demario Davis, Caden Ellis, but even Caden Ellis is his year number 7 going into would be year number 8. His market value is projected to be $9.2 million. Like that's still expensive. That would be more than they've paid a free agent in who knows how long. Alex Singleton is 32. Cole Holcomb, Quay Walker. Like there's just guys there. And then you look at corner, like the numbers there. Jamel Dean, his market value is projected to be $13.1 million in free agency. Alante Taylor for the Saints, who I actually really, really like, $10 million.
I like they got to be willing to play. A lot.
They got to be willing to play. And then safety, there's actually quite a few names at safety as well. Let me see, like Jalen Thompson for the Cardinals, Andre Cisco, Harrison Smith's value, even at 37, is 10.4. Like that, just my point is, it ain't going to be cheap.
You can still play, by the way.
Yes. Yeah. But better than what the Cowboys have right now. And we're not saying that they need to get all pro at every position either. They just need to be serviceable. And to get to serviceable, you're still going to have to spend a little bit of money to get there and not sign those vet minimum deals and pray that you just happen to get lucky on it. That's kind of my whole thought process.
Yeah. And you can't go as is draft and pray this year. It's just not going to work, especially if you're going to do that, then you need to go into a full rebuild. Get rid of the quarterback, get rid of, the major contracts on this team. In Dallas, they're not going to get rid of the quarterback. And I don't think that they should out. Dak wasn't even close to the reason why this team wasn't good, but it's a little disheartening this season is because I felt like we went through a whole year and learned nothing about this team. Like that's really how I look at this season. We went through a full, like I said, this season was, I tweeted it out earlier, Zach. This season was the most empty calorie season. We went through a whole year and I learned nothing about this team. Nothing.
That's actually a really good point. I haven't even thought about that. We really didn't. Like the defense was so bad to a point that it just became like a grading on a curve. Like we didn't really get to see a competitive game, or if we did, like they had 2 good solid weeks and then they get blown out by the Lions and then lose to the Vikings and lose to the Cardinals. And you're right. I don't know what I learned about this team this year. Just embarrassing all the way around.
Like I literally don't know what we learned. And It's unfortunate because I know that me and you are going to go our hardest during draft season. We're going to cover all grounds. You're absolutely right about defensive end. Like a player like Ruben Bain, I'll spoil it because I'm going to be working on his piece tonight, try to get it out in the morning. The Ruben Bain is perfect, but he's not like a quick pressure guy. Like, so now you're looking for a type of defensive end. But, Bain will play the run. Super physical versus the run. Super physical. He's definitely really like pro ready as far as his strength, but this team needs to get home. You know what I mean? And so like trying to find some of that is going to be, it's just going to be one of these years, Zach, in these off seasons where everybody's going to be grasping that stuff. And as of right now, standing today, I don't know what can make this team better. Like, and will you be able to do that in a year? Because even let's say you fix the defense, I still have real questions about this offense. Like I do, bro. Like the tackle, like this, just because the numbers were high. Do we chat? You guys, do you guys think this is a championship or a playoff offense? Maybe, but when things get crunchy and tight, do we really trust Brian Schottenheimer making tough decisions? I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, it feels like a lot of the same. Like, you don't feel like there's a new, like, the one thing I will give, and I was hard on Ben Johnson, especially how they coached it up against the Commanders last year in the playoffs, but you feel like the Bears have a different aura about them. You know that Sean McVay doesn't play that. Bro, with Shoddy, it just feels like a continuation and a hype version of Mike McCarthy. And honestly, at times, I feel like Mike McCarthy would have got a few. Like, I don't care what nobody says. Mike McCarthy's not losing to the Panthers, bro. He's not losing to the Cardinals. And it's sad, but does Mike McCarthy lose those games? Because this is what everybody's doing. They are separating the offense and the defense, forgetting Shoddy's the head coach. You're responsible for both. I know we don't want to look at it like that, but when you are the head coach, you're responsible for both. Both, Zach.
Yep. And it's felt so disjointed at times. Just felt, I'm just not sure a guy, I'm not saying he can't be a good head coach. I think what they did with a lot of their free agency stuff, with the draft and whatnot, I think for the most part, they did a good job. And I think that Schottenheimer has the offense going the right way. But for a guy that couldn't get a head coaching gig for 25, 30 years, for him to now be the head coach and the offensive coordinator and having to deal with both sides of the ball and having the DC that he does and the talent that he does defensively, like it just doesn't mesh very well. And then you get exactly what this year has been. A number one offense in top 5 in most statistical categories, a defense that's bottom 5 in most statistical categories. That's going to bring you out to likely right at 8-1, literally perfect.
You're not
right
even
dead in the
that
middle.
this year, Zach.
Do what?
We're not even 8-1. That's, bro. We're gonna finish. Maybe we beat the Giants and the Commanders, but bro, where would that leave us at? 8-1, I guess.
Yeah, it would. It would be right at 8-1, and they have a chance to win those games. But me personally, like I hate when people are like, "Yeah, you need to win the last couple of games because that matters for next year. Like you got to keep that momentum carrying." That doesn't make any sense. Dudes don't care what happens in 2025 going into 2026. They could care less. They're not going to remember the last game of the year from the previous year. And if you have as much turnover on defense as you expect, 9 out of 11 starters aren't even going to remember the game, or know anything about it. So it don't matter. Lose. Let's get that high draft pick, and then let's all watch and hope that Green Bay can get down with their first round pick, miss the playoffs, and maybe be at 18.
Yeah, man. It's a
tough year.
Yeah, I mean, just like we're in the Matrix, guys. And when people like, push you too hard on people like, push you too hard on did DK Metcalf just punch a fan? Oh my god, I'm distracted. But people like, push you too hard on Shoddy. Bro, It's not that. It's people act like when Shotty, people are like, man, when Shotty got the job, he was gonna just take this offense and just completely just be much better than Mike McCarthy. And it's like, bro, it's kind of been the same, bro. Like, I mean, like I don't feel like in any way like this offense could have carried you to a Super Bowl or could have carried you to big games, and it didn't carry you through big games. Like, obviously, Matt guys, Matt Eberflus is going to get fired. I'm talking to the chat now, not to use that. Matt Eberflus is going to get fired. There's no need to talk about Matt Eberflus. There's no need to even talk about him anymore. He's gone. It's over. Congratulations. I'm talking about what's going to be here in the future.
Yep. And that's what these last
there has to be real change. Yeah.
Like we're just evaluating for next year at this point. Like what guys are going to be here. And that's why like when we started at the top of the show with Ferguson, wondering what's going on with him, like that's a guy that's going to be here. Deron Bland on his second foot surgery in as many years. Like he's going to be here. Yeah, they can move on from Diggs. They can move on from Steele. They can move on, let Javonte go and Donovan Wilson walk and Malik Hooker and all that. But damn, the whole ship is starting to get holes in it. We're sinking really quickly with a franchise quarterback. We got a captain. Just the damn ship's got holes all in it.
We got Zach the curse. It's been a great day.
Bro, we're down bad. They're gonna have to do something free agency.
Let's look at the depth chart and then we'll I want to really then we'll close, Zach. But let's look because you got me thinking. All right. Deron Bland, let's go through the defense. Deron Bland is here, and like you said, his feet are about to fall off. You're pretty much looking at Rebel, but now this has been 3 games of Rebel getting beat consistently. So hopefully he can at some point bounce back. Overshown really showed you nothing. Like, I mean, just calling it what it is. Overshown made did Overshown make any real plays since he's been here? None.
I don't think so.
I mean, love Overshown to death, but we gotta call a spade a spade.
Yep.
DeMarvin Overshown made no plays. Love him. Maybe next year he is all the way healthy and we'll give him that pass. Overshown does get that pass. All right, let's look at the defense. Kalen Clarkson, I mean, times he showed a few good plays, but then he just gets beat like a drum. I mean, he's not stopping me from drafting anybody. Only people safe on the D-line, obviously, Quinnen, Dominic Ezeraku. I don't know what's going to happen with Kenny Clark and Osa. So those 3 are safe. Clowney's a free agent. Fowler's a free agent. James Houston is a free agent. So all those guys are free agents. Now you look at the offensive side of the ball. These are the tough conversations. Jakes Ferguson, tough conversation. Still, tough conversation. I mean, bro, Guyton, tough conversation. You know what I mean? You still haven't paid Pickens. This team has so much to do, bro. And it's just like, I don't know. Did I do that? Like, you did that? Click,
yeah,
like,
I did that.
Yeah.
I did it. If you guys could head down there and hit that like button, it tells YouTube that you're enjoying it. But I where they are with this offensive line as well is a tricky spot. And actually, I like the idea of Tyler Smith at left tackle because would you rather have an offensive guard that is like a 9 out of 10, or would you rather have a left tackle that's a 7.5 out of 10 or an 8 out of 10, right? If I'm not saying Guyton's been extremely bad, but his most natural position has been on the right side. So let's say you kick Tyler Smith out to left tackle, did it his rookie year, played so well they kept Tyron on the bench until they moved him to right tackle. What about you slide Tyler Guyton over to right tackle, let Steele go, that saves you $14 million in cap space. And then it's Tyler Smith, you find a left guard without spending a first-round pick on a guard. Find a left guard, you have your center, you have your right guard, and you have your right tackle in Guyton. Is that your best lineup? Or even moving BB to left guard and keeping Brock Hoffman for $2.5 million and letting him play center. Like, is that better than maybe going and looking for a right tackle? Because if this team thinks they need a tackle, they are going to take a tackle. They are going, if they have the smallest hint that their offensive line isn't the best thing on the field at all times, they're gonna, like, it's just, I don't know. It's been a good therapy session, though.
Guys, thanks for letting us vent. Yeah, thanks for letting us vent for 40 minutes, guys. I'm sorry if I was all over the place. This is frustrating because I'm gonna go in right doing mock draft stuff like that. Me and Zach will be doing topics weekly, but I want to hear what's the direction of this team. Like I want to hear. Now Shotty, you got your 1 year grace. It's not gonna be so easy to just sell me like, man, we're gonna be tough, violent, physical. I mean, there were times where we just weren't. You know what I mean? There were times where we just weren't. Like, let's just be real, bro. Like, we were not physical. We weren't any of that. Like, it just was times, man, that I'm just like, you couldn't run the ball when you needed to. I go back to that Chicago game, Zach. That game just hunts me because in the red zone, the game still in the balance. Couldn't run the ball, bro. Couldn't run the ball, Zach.
Nope.
Denver game. Couldn't run the ball. It just some of those games, some of those decisions hunt me. You're gonna need a new defense. I mean, I don't have faith in any of these linebackers. There's people who are like, man, give Maris a shot. What has Maris done? Anytime I've seen Maris on the field, it's just been like, I guess. I mean,
you just see the back of his jersey when he's chasing the running back down the field.
What plays does he make?
I don't know. Nothing. Like, that's the thing. It's like they can't do that this year. We've done that. We've tried that. Hey, let's hope Kalen Carson plays better next year, or let's hope this guy plays better next year, or this guy. Like, I'm kind of just tired of doing that, and I think that's why this season's been so tiring. Is I just want it to be like, oh, is the offense going to show up and win us the game, or is the defense? When in reality, it's just we got to hope the offense is on their A game and they can put up 35 points, and then we got a chance. Like, it just gets exhausting. I'm sure everybody else just felt the same way.
In other words, Zach, we're cooked. And the cook is in. And I'm going to be honest with you, bro. We got the Commanders on Christmas. I don't even know if I want us to win those games, bro. Because there's a chance you could lose those games. You're not good enough to just go in there and think you're going to beat the Commanders. It's going to be cold out here. You're not good enough to just go in there and win those. And then I don't want to mess up. Like, I want to see Joe Milton play in that game, bro. There's no need to see Dak. I don't want to mess up our draft spot, bro. But then it's like, what is Dallas going to do with this draft? It's disheartening, bro. I hate to get on here and just sound like a sad Nelly, a sad Sam, but just a disheartening season. I feel bad for the true fans out here who stuck in with us, because you guys deserve better, and just wasn't good enough this year. So
yeah, hey, on a positive note, they lost, so their draft pick is moving up. All right, we're not gonna win some meaningless games now. We got to keep moving down the draft.
I think we're at 14 still, Zach. I'm gonna check.
I think so.
Yeah,
and now we need a point for the Packers to miss the playoffs, and they'd be at 18. I mean, could you imagine if we can get to like 12 or 14, and then maybe the Packers pick at 18?
So we're at 13.
They're at 13.
So we're drafting 13th overall.
The Packers can't go any lower than 18 because of their record. So if they miss the playoffs, they'll be at 18, and Dallas can maybe get to 12 or 13. Hey, that would be pretty nice.
Man, we're one step closer to real quick, Zach. Who we drafting? We're going DN. We're one step. You know what? We may be one step closer to, but see, I think he's gonna go in the top 10. David Bailey. That's your quick pressure guy right there.
Yep. It depends. Are we drafting defensive end 4, 3? Or we have a chance at cornerback 1, or linebacker 1, or
like you get a chance at linebacker 1.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I'm telling you, Sonny Styles, I think people are going to kind of look at him like a
he's two positions. He's a safety and a linebacker.
I'm saying they're going to look at him like a Kyle Hamilton type mold that can cover extremely well. And
I think I'm willing to draft that at 13, bro, just because it's either that or you're down the line. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, an edge. If you get an edge that slides down boards for whatever reason and it feels like a steal, 100%. I just don't want him to reach there. Like, I don't want a Taco situation. I know it's a little bit earlier in the draft than when they took Taco, but I don't want that situation.
Man, enjoy your day, bro.
You
Enjoy
too.
your evening, Zach. It's just tough, guys, but we love you all. We're going to be at the Senior Bowl. We're actually going to talk. So we get off here, we're going to probably talk about plans and stuff for that. So we love you all. You guys will see. Hey, look, we got 2 more of these for the season. And one thing for sure, 2 things for certain, we aren't going to quit on you guys. Merry Christmas.
Yes,
we do have a game on Christmas. Enjoy your families. We love you all. Peace.